Okay, so we talked about vibration. So, and we talked about the five senses as a way to perceive vibration. So I am curious about the other vibrations that exist around us, but that we cannot perceive because we only have the five senses.
Then they're irrelevant and they are non-players in your experience.
Okay.
And the sixth sense really is your emotional center. It's your being able to interpret by the way you feel. And that is far and away the most significant one.
And as we evolve, are we gonna have more sensory perceptions, like, abilities to sense more in the environment or in the physical experience?
Let's start at a more basic part of your question. So let's just use the word vibration, and let's talk about vibration in terms of variance. Lots of different frequencies. You understand that just as physical beings, as you are putting together your communicative devices, and you have different bandwidths, and some of them are for television, and some of them are for radio, and some of them are for CB radios, and some of them are for AM radios, and some of them are for FM radios. And so you've sort of come to these agreements. We'll stay out of your atmosphere and you stay out of our atmosphere, so we won't get in each other's way. So we'll broadcast, and then so there will be a transmitter and a receiver so that there is communication. So you sort of kind of get vibration in that sense. We want you to look at it in a more general sense just for a moment, to realize that there is a broadcasting signal to you of who you really are, that you can tune into by your attention to whatever you are giving your attention to, and that your emotions let you know about that signal. And nothing matters more than that. Once you feel your way into that receptive mode so that you are really in sync with the whole of who you are, that's when things begin manifesting around you, and others call you master. That's that's what makes you really stand out from others. Now here's a sort of scanty analogy. Esther remembers many years ago, she would tell you it was 100, but it wasn't. She had a CB radio in one of her early vehicles, and several of her friends were traveling, and they were communicating as they were moving down the highways with their CB radios. It was really fun. The thing about it that was interesting is that anybody that got onto that channel could hear the conversation. And they couldn't all talk at once. Sometimes it would get overloaded. So they'd be moving through an area, and they'd be talking to each other because there were about 30 of them all moving together and enjoying the fun and the conversation, sort of like the very early days of Facebook. And then they would move through an area where there was some guy with a CB tower that was offering a signal that was so powerful that he dominated the airwaves, and none of them could get in. He just blasted the airwaves, and their transmitters and receivers were rendered useless for a little while until they drove out of the range of his influence. What we want to call your attention to is this influence of well-being that is like that it doesn't take nearly as much tuning into it as any of you think. But most of you are running around with so much chatter going on, chatter that is far less relevant to you than that. And that's really what we're trying to get you to tune into. So what is it that you want to talk to us about?
Well, it was about, something that you thought it was irrelevant, which is the other vibrations that exist but that we cannot connect with because we don't have the sensory perceptions, or because we only have
five senses. So we'll answer your question. Yeah. Are there vibrations that you want to tune into? Yes. Are there vibrations that you're not tuning into? Yes. But the thing that we want you to understand about this, because it's a little different than the way you're looking at it.
Okay.
If you will tune, meditation is a really good way, or appreciation is a really good way. If you will tune to ideas that when you focus upon them, fill you up. In other words, make you feel lighthearted, make you feel exhilaration, make you feel happy. If you will tune to those, what will happen is the momentum, that's the word that we want to introduce into this subject of vibration. The momentum of that chosen vibration will cause that to be a dominance within you. In other words, it's the momentum in any vibration that you choose that makes it such a strong point of attraction. If you have taken the time to tune to who you really are and you're feeling good, and you've been doing it long enough that you're really holding steady, someone else could introduce something into your experience that could get your attention and take you off of your vibrational alignment a little bit. But it wouldn't be lasting. You'll bounce back easily every single time.
Makes sense.
So there are a lot of sometimes your question is, are there vibrations just out there and that exist that we want to be aware of? And we want to say to you that if you will use the word vibration and thought simultaneously. So you are a thinker of a thought, and then that thought thinks. So it's all consciousness. And yes, there's infinite consciousness. Some of it that you want to tune into and you have the ability to, if you will allow the momentum of your alignment to become stronger. And some of it that you don't want to tune into. It's sort of just like the buffet of the world. There are some things you want to put on your plate and eat, and there's some things you never want to put on your plate. Nothing, no vibration will jump into your experience if there is not a vibration within you that is inviting it to come. So sometimes you have to allow the vibration to gain enough momentum before you can really ascertain whether it's one that you want to continue to promote or whether you're wanting to focus in another way. So we want to take the word vibration and put it into a user-friendly conversation. And the word that we want to use is focus. And then we want to put it into a manageable, controlled, friendly format. Focus and feel. So if you decide to focus and feel, you will do all of the perceiving, all of the realizing, and all of the managing of all of the vibrations that you ever want. Esther's driving down the road the other day, and she knows that that guy is going to change lanes right in front of her. Now, how does she know that? Well, it doesn't really matter that she knows that. And she's gotten so she gets out of the way of them. She doesn't wait to see if she was right. In other words, it's happened often enough that she's starting to trust those feelings. And so you all are the translators of many, many impulses in your day. But you're doing it at an unconscious level. And that's why your conversation with us matters so much, because you're talking about not doing this at an unconscious level, doing it at a conscious level. Because when you do it at a conscious level, then it is so satisfying. When you sense something and you focus on it and then it comes to realization, this is how your world becomes richer. This is why the artists of the world captivate you, because they have the ability to translate the vibration of color and medium into things beyond what most people can even perceive. And even though you might not be trained enough to do it, you are trained enough to feel it. That's why when you see it, you know the depth and breadth and value of it, you see. Yes?
Yeah.
Something more?
Can I ask you one question quick?
Yeah.
I've been, my grandmother passed in 2008, and I had a really close relationship with her. And I am feeling like I'm tuning into her, but I'm doubting myself because I don't really know if it's her or it's me in my mind telling me that it's her. But I just feel her very intensely.
We really liked the conversation that we've had all morning here before you said those words. If a tree falls in the forest and there's no one there to hear it, did the tree really fall? If grandmother is in the forest transmitting conversation to me, and I'm not in the vibrational vicinity of it, did she really speak to me? And the answer is yes. And if I heard her, if I felt her, if I perceived her, was it just in my mind? Well, do you use your mind to realize things? Of course you do. In other words, of course it's going to be in your mind. Of course it's going to be in your mind. She's not going to paint on your face.
No, it's true, but what I mean is, like, am I making it up, or is it real? Is it her really?
Well, we said focus and feel.
Yeah.
So what happens to you? It happens to a lot of you. So you'll be missing someone, and then you'll get distracted from that missing. And then you'll be in a happy place. Now, you've already launched the rocket. You've already put out the request. Grandmother, I would like to have communication with you. So that's something that path has unfolded, and there is momentum about it. So now you're in a non-resistant state of being, and you begin to realize some communication from your grandmother. And almost as soon as it happens, you say, is this real? And then you lose communication. Or in many cases, you think, oh, I miss you so much, and then you lose communication. So you have to stay on the vibe. Of course you're not making it up.
Okay.
Of course you're not making it up. Are you in a better place to receive her at some times than others? Yes. When you're not in a good place, you don't receive her. So when you receive her, you're receiving her. Accept that.
I will.
Accept that. You're receiving her. And then that's what Esther is saying. It's really subtle. I got to tune myself. I got to be in a good place. When Esther stopped looking where Jerry used to be, which he isn't, and started looking where he is, she started finding him. And then for a while she'd find him, and then she missed that he wasn't where he used to be, and then she'd lose him again. In other words, it's all about focus. It's just like tuning the song. It was right. The song was right there. Did you hear it? It was right there. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Tune in. Get your hand off the dial. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Really good. This is a good time for segment of refreshment.